We welcome you to Minute Maid Park, where tonight on this Tuesday evening, it's not only Dollar Dog Night, but it's a big-time matchup as the Astros are hosting the New York Yankees. And Justin Verlander's on the mound for the Astros in Game 2 of this 4-game series. Astros winning the opener last night by the score of 2-1. In the process, they become the second American League team to 20 wins. The Yankees come in at 18-10. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Plum. Good way to kick off that series last night. A 2-1 win. Had the vibe, even though it was only April, of a late season game.
Yeah, it really did. The fans showed up. It's going to be a great series throughout the rest of this, but it's a lot of fun to have those fans come out here and back these guys up when they needed it.
The amazing thing about the first 30 games of this season has been the starting pitching, and then Charlie Morton tacked on another brilliant performance.
No, Charlie Morton did a great job, and it's just unique to look back and see how Charlie Morton did last night, going 7 2/3. And the interesting part is, with the Astros rotation going so deep in these ball games, and with that playoff atmosphere, it really gave A.J. Hinch an opportunity to use the back end of that bullpen, which I thought was fantastic. But again, it was Charlie Morton going out there. We saw high spin rates on the four-seam fastball coming in there, blowing by some of these guys. And again, elevated fastballs, curveballs down the zone, leading to a lot of swings and misses for Charlie Morton.
And at that point, Morton had gone deeper than he ever had as an Astro, and A.J. turned it over to his bullpen. It was matchup time in the eighth.
It was matchup time, and I thought the AB, even with Brad Peacock walking Aaron Judge, was unique in the sense that he was pitching to him, but he was pitching around him to see if he could get him to chase. Didn't get him to chase, and then he handed the ball off to Debo, who did a great job of getting Brett Gardner out. He's very effective on left-handed hitters. And then the brilliant Ken Giles of recent days. The electric fastball, the efficiency of throwing strikes, and getting through that big win last night.
Giles got through Giancarlo Stanton, Gary Sanchez, and Aaron Hicks. We are getting ready for baseball on a Tuesday night. Should be a good crowd. Justin Verlander on the mound for the Houston Astros. He'll be opposed by the lefty Jordan Montgomery. Baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Rooms to Go, where you get the lowest prices every day. and delivery is fast and easy. The Astros and the Yankees coming up, game 2 of this 4-game series. Julia Morales will join us to talk about the upcoming schedule and how yesterday did not feel like an April game.
Up this long homestand for the Houston Astros, and it is also May, so a new month for everyone. The calendar has turned. April was pretty good for the Astros, but May, looking ahead, could be a little challenging when it comes to the teams that these Astros will have to face. The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontron RV. Of course, got a couple more with the Yankees, one of the best teams in the American League right now. And then on the road, the Diamondbacks have won 7 out of their last 9 games. They've been playing some pretty good baseball. The Indians are going to see twice in 10 days. Nothing's going on with that team, right? And they're going to see the Yankees again and the Red Sox at the end of the month. So some tough teams coming here in the next month or so for these Houston Astros. And we haven't seen a ton of close games. In the close games even, we haven't seen the intensity rise like it did when the Yankees were here last night. It was a close game all the way to the end. You saw Davinsky striking out Major League's hottest hitter, Didi Gregorius, and then Ken Giles coming in to close things out in this one-run ball game. We have not seen that kind of stuff or that confidence from Ken Giles. Just shows where he is at right now, and he lives for those big moments. That was definitely a big moment for this ball club, one of the few that they've had so far in this season. And 20 wins, guys, that's a lot. So they've had a lot of wins, but to have a game like that where it was intense, taking it to the next level for these competitors, I think was good for them. They talk a lot about how this particular series doesn't exactly matter who wins or loses because it's so early, but I think it is good to challenge these guys knowing that they're going to want to play these type of ball games in October, and something they did well last year. TK?
Yeah, they certainly did, Julia. Appreciate it. It's going to be a fun road ahead, and curious what she was talking about with nothing going on with Cleveland, but we'll get to that later on. Justin Verlander on the mound on this Twitter Tuesday. That's not a hint.
Kind of fitting.
And JV pitching against the Yankees in this building as he did in games 2 and 6 of the ALCS.
Justin Verlander is quite good. He's great in an Astros uniform. 11 regular season starts. He is 9-0 in those regular season starts. He is a 6-time All-Star, 2011 American League MVP, 2011 American League Cy Young, and he's also the 2006 Rookie of the Year. So plenty of stuff for him to put on the mantle, but he's looking to come out here in the first day of May and announce the Astros' presence against these New York Yankees.
Power Player of the Game presented by TXU. ALCS MVP. He was 2-0 with a skinny ERA of 0.56. Game 2 was a 2-1 Astros win. Game 6, an elimination game. The Astros winning 7-1. Justin went 7 shutout innings in that one. Jose Altuve had a home run and 3 runs batted in, and that was the famous game where Altuve said, "I literally love Justin Verlander."
I think that's literally where we all fell in love with Justin Verlander. That was some pretty amazing stuff that he came out there with, and off to an electric start here in 2018.
It really has been fun to watch this whole rotation, and it all starts with Justin Verlander tonight making his 7th start of the year as he kicks off that rotation for the 7th time in 2018. He will face Brett Gardner to lead things off for Aaron Boone and the Yankees, followed by Aaron Judge and Didi Gregorius. Giancarlo Stanton bats in the cleanup spot as the DH Gary Sanchez behind the plate. Aaron Hicks is in center field. Miguel Andujar at third base. Tyler Austin back in the lineup at first base, and Gleyber Torres bats 9th and plays 2nd. A lot of young talent in that Yankees lineup as well, and they are off to an 18-10 start. They begin the night in 2nd place in the AL East, trailing the Boston Red Sox by 3 games. The Astros started in 1st place in the AL West, leading Seattle by 2.5 with a 20-10 record after 30 games. And Verlander, as he has done so well all season long, pumping in a fastball strike. It's 0-1 to Gardner. Roof is closed tonight. They had a little bit of a possibility of a shower this evening, so with that in mind, temperature was fine, but the roof will be closed for the 2nd game of the 4-game series. Gardner has faced Verlander 40 different at-bats in their careers, head-to-head matchups. Not a huge advantage for either one, and that ball hits Brett Gardner, a breaking ball that catches him on the back leg.
That is not going to feel good for Brett Gardner. Not sure exactly where that squared him up, but it was in that knee region. Mattress Firm Supermo is going to give us a good idea of where it made contact, and why not hit that back kneecap to start things off. Ouch.
Verlander early in this game will have to work out of the stretch.
It's a 3rd hitter this season that Justin has hit.
Now face Aaron Judge. Judge not in the lineup last night, came on as a pinch hitter in the top half of the 8th inning. He swings in the first pitch and sends a high pop foul into the crowd. It's about 10 rows deep. That was way up here at Minute Maid Park. Judge last year had the highest average exit velocity at 94.9, and those numbers are even higher this year. He's averaging 96.7 off the bat every time he makes contact. Verlander has had success against Aaron Judge in their head-to-head matchups. Gardner checked it first.
Yeah, his numbers are pretty impressive. 317 coming into this game. And again, a man this size, usually with those long arms, you can tie those guys up inside. But Aaron Judge, since his rookie year, really cleaned up that swing, simplified things, and has been a very good hitter.
Cutting down on the strikeouts, making better contact. And it seemed like last year the attack zone for the Astros in facing Judge, at least when Verlander was on the mound, was to stay away. And it does seem a bit counterintuitive because you would think you would be able to tie him up, but the Astros did a good job with Verlander on the mound, keeping the pitch away from him as they do there, but it misses outside. It's 2-1. There's a nice breaking ball for a called strike. Mark Wegner, the crew chief, is behind the plate tonight calling balls and strikes.
Good pitch, not ideally located on our MD Anderson strike zone. but still effective enough with the change in velocity and tilt that he gets the looking strike.
A lot of matchups for Verlander against the Yankees in his career. 6-7 regular season mark, but a perfect 4-0 postseason, and he gets Judge swinging. Aaron Judge now 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts against Justin Verlander, and there's one away in the first. Starting defense presented by Xfinity. With a lefty on the mound for the Yankees, Josh Reddick getting the night off. That means Marwin in left, Jake Marisnick in center, and George Springer is in right field. Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and Yuli Gurriel around the infield. And Brian McCann is behind the plate. Evan Gattis will be the DH tonight for the Astros. Here is Didi Gregorius. Gregorius tops in runs batted in the major leagues, tops in slugging percentage, tied for first in home runs. Check of Gardner at first.
That punch up breaks a tie for Justin Verlander, who was tied up with Mark Langston as far as strikeouts. 2,465 now in the career for Justin Verlander.
Verlander through the years has become more effective at holding runners on, and one way he has combated the running game is always paying attention in multiple throws with a guy on first base who can run, checking the runner at first. One on the count. Verlander in 11 regular season starts with the Astros, 9-0 with a 1.22 earned run average. Gregorius out of play. It's 1-2. Last year in the ALCS, Astros won game 1 2-1 behind Dallas Keuchel. They won game 2 2-1 behind Justin Verlander's complete game gem as he went the distance and struck out 13. And just for good measure, in their first matchup of 2018, the Astros went out last night and won 2-1. High pop-up on the infield. Altuve and Correa are there. It's Altuve who makes the call on the catch, and Gregorius is out number 2. Don't forget, this is a Tuesday night, which means it's Twitter Tuesday. You can tweet us your thoughts of what Justin Verlander and the Astros mean to each other. Send your thoughts to @ATT Sportsnet SW or Real Todd Callis, Plumber 27, Julian Morales. You can also send a question or two, if you like, in for the general manager of the Houston Astros, as Jeff Luhnow will join us a little bit later on, and he can answer your questions on this Twitter Tuesday. Foul tip off the bat of Giancarlo Stanton. It's 0-1. Watching batting practice today with Stanton, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, and then the rookie Gleyber Torres. Those guys put on quite a show.
Yes, they do. They have got to travel with extra baseballs just because of batting practice.
On the train tracks, over the train tracks, over the batter's eye.
Say into the Budweiser party deck.
Deep into the party deck.
It's crazy. Good hang time.
Oof. Verlander had 0-2. Stan does have a home run against Justin Verlander. Came in their last matchup. Overall 1 for 5. That one hit being the home run. He's also struck out 3 times. Runner on the move, doesn't matter. Foul tip caught by McCann. And the first inning ends with a strikeout. Verlander K's 2 in the first, and we head to the bottom half. Series will have George Springer leading off in right field. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Yuli Gurriel, Alex Bregman. No more walks again in last night's game. Marwin Gonzalez in left field. Evan Gattis will DH. Brian McCann gets the start against the lefty. And then Jake Marisnick plays center field. That's ninth.
Left-hander Jordan Montgomery going for the New York Yankees. Had 29 starts last year in his rookie season. He's got 5 thus far for the New York Yankees. 2-0 record, 26 1/3 innings pitched and 23 punch-outs. Again, the walks at 12 might be a little bit concerning. Fastball, curveball, really relies on the sinking fastball and a curveball. Pretty much eliminated the slider. So you'll see variations of that curveball.
Starts George off with a fastball away. It's 1-0. Only 40% fastballs for Montgomery.
The other 60% between that changeup and curveball.
Drops him into the bottom 10 in terms of fastball usage. 8th fewest fastballs in percentages. Threw that changeup there at 1-0.
Pretty safe to sit off speed. Turn that dial down a little bit.
In the air to right field. Aaron Judge comes in, and Springer retired for out number 1. It's a new month for Jose Altuve, but what a first month it was. No player does more, presented by HEB. Altuve in March and April combined with 41 hits. That is the second most in team history. Altuve coming in leading all of baseball with those 41 hits. Altuve had himself quite a first couple of months. 4-hit game in that mix. His 26th 4-hit game. Chops one towards third on one bounce. Miguel Andujar makes the play. That's out number 2. Only guy who ever had more hits.
Operation Shutdown. Love that guy.
What a start to that season.
Yeah, that's pretty electric. Difference might be that Altuve will probably hover and finish the season around that number. That's what's amazing about what Jose Altuve goes out there and does. Consistency of hitting at such a high number.
He's retired on one pitch, and now here's Carlos Correa. Correa, another 2-hit night game against the Yankees. He was on base 3 times last night. His numbers against New York better than any other team he faces in the American League. .395 career mark against the Yankees. And against Jordan Montgomery, he's 4 for 6 with a home run. to center field. Hicks puts it away. 7-pitch bottom half of the first for the lefty Montgomery. We head to the second inning.
Chevy Stropole. Remember to follow us on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW. Who would you choose as the Astros Player of the Month for March and April? Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Charlie Morton, or Jose Altuve? Make sure to vote in the poll. We're going to reveal those results later. Also, keep your tweets coming in on this Twitter Tuesday. Verlander and Astros equal a perfect marriage. The newlyweds there.
Pretty much a storybook year for Justin Verlander. He and his fiance at the time, and now his new bride, discussing things going into the trade deadline. Kate Upton, of course, we're talking about. And they had a short amount of time to decide, do they want to become a Houston Astro and make Houston their home for the next few years? And it looks like they made the right call. Ball ripped to left field off the bat of Gary Sanchez, and he has the first hit of the night for either side. Leadoff base runner in the second. Oh, Verlander, as we mentioned, making his 7th start. A dominant first 6. Same with those 2 other arms on that Stropole, Charlie Morton and Garrett Cole. The Astros really have 3 possible contenders for American League Pitcher of the Month. Here's Aaron Hicks.
Would it be safe to say that the Pitcher of the Month comes out of the American League West somehow?
Yeah, because Sean Manaea is going to get some votes. And he would be the one guy that would scare you a little bit based on that ERA and opponent's batting average against. And oh, by the way, no hit the Boston Red Sox. But to have 3 legit candidates in the first month.
Yeah, it's 48 punch outs, 45 punch outs, 61 punch outs. Woo.
I think in the past, maybe even as recently as 5 or 10 years ago, the fact that Manaea lost a couple of games might have hurt his chances, but I don't think wins and losses are quite viewed with the same degree of severity as they were back in the day.
I agree completely. That's why so many of these peripheral analytic numbers start to pop up to really evaluate these guys and their worth. But the starters have been worth every penny first in pretty much every meaningful category.
Broken bat into left field. Marwin coming on, makes the play. Hicks is retired for out number 1.
It's been a lot of fun to watch JV on the mound. I think we know him well enough now to call him JV. But we appreciate the 151 batting average against. We've seen the fastball be extremely good again. Everything that he has said and everything he has shown us has proven that he is healthy. The slider's been amazing. 4.5 hits per 9 innings is remarkable. And then a whip at .69. Go ahead and explain that one for me.
I can't explain that, and I've got something that you probably can't explain.
Well, that's a lot.
Jordan Montgomery threw 7 pitches in the first inning.
Correct.
And the Yankees have bullpen action going.
Uh-oh.
Can you explain that?
He got traded.
Domingo Germán is warming up for the Yankees. We have no idea why.
That is not good.
This is not a time you would ever get work in, certainly, if you're a reliever.
Last time out, he threw 98 pitches. So you'd figure, and he's, what, 25, 26 years old? Worked through the best part of the Astros order.
We'll try and figure out what's going on, but interesting that the Yankees have the bullpen cranking up here in the second inning of this game. Miguel Andujar with a 1-1 count. But going back to your point, it's just trying to be funny, but yeah, Justin Verlander just ridiculous and just sets the tone for the rest of the guys to say, all right, here's the bar.
Yeah, he's putting up Fortnite numbers, for lack of a better term, because every time that when we were playing and somebody went out and started putting up just amazing numbers, like we've seen from these Astros starters, and namely Justin Verlander, we called them Nintendo numbers.
There you go.
Just video game type stuff that you could only create.
And the fact that each guy goes out there night after night. Nice piece of hitting by Andujar, a little base hit to right. And not only keeps their team in the game, but just dominates many nights.
Oh, we appreciate you.
Thank you, Ashley. That's very sweet.
My whip is actually words per inning. I think I've increased my word rate with some PEDs. Or BEDs, broadcasting enhancing.
Still performance.
Yeah.
You're still a performer.
Yeah, but they don't test me anymore, so I'm in the clear.
You're good. Here's Tyler Austin down to the count 0-1. Austin coming off a 4-game suspension. He was involved in that little fracas they had between the Red Sox and the Yankees. He charged them out after being hit by Joe Kelly. Was suspended for 4 games. Missed the weekend series in Anaheim and then the first game in this series. And he fouls one out of play. 0-2. Well, this is a whole new look with the Yankees. We've got an injury right now to Greg Bird. Austin's getting a chance to play some first base. The guy who just had a base hit, Miguel Andujar, has looked very good in his first full season at the big league level. And then Gleyber Torres made his debut just about a week or so ago. That's the 7, 8, 9 grouping right there. They're all young, talented players to go along with some established guys further up in the lineup. This is a dangerous team 1 through 9.
What a unique era to be a Yankee fan, because there's generations of Yankee fans that don't understand what's happening with all this youth. Typically the Yankees go out, spend money, buy big free agents, load them up and let them go to hacking, but this is completely different. Cashman made a couple of those trades. Brian McCann was one of them, and now they've got a pretty strong youth contingent over there, and they're proving their worth here at the big league level.
You know, one of the key moves, and it was going to be an important move no matter who filled that role, but the guy taking over for Derek Jeter. That was going to be a high profile, bright spotlight maneuver, and it ended up working out very well.
Yeah, who's going to replace the captain, Derek Jeter? And Joe Espada, who's now the bench coach for the Houston Astros, was the third base coach and infield instructor for the New York Yankees, and it was basically his job. He is the reason that Didi Gregorius is on this Yankee ball club.
Tyler Austin goes down swinging, strikeout number 3.
And in talking to Joe about that acquisition of Didi Gregorius, as we look back at Verlander's slider punching out Austin, is that Joe said that he had a list of about 5 or 6 guys he went around the league and checked out, and they ended up picking up Didi Gregorius, who was one of the guys he wanted. It was not an electric start by Didi Gregorius.
No.
It was a struggle a little bit making that adjustment to Yankee Stadium and the expectation of trying to fill the shoes of Derek Jeter. But there was a big smile on his face knowing that Didi is having a good year. He doesn't want to have him to have a good 4-game series,
right?
But he is pretty proud of the fact that he is playing well.
Now that's interesting that he had that big of a role in it. Didi was shut down last night after just a brilliant first month. Could easily win AL Player of the Month. We showed you the candidates for Pitcher of the Month, but Didi had a monster first 30 games of this season, or 28 in the Yankees case. Gleyber Torres down in the count 0-2. Justin Verlander, after a couple of hits in the inning, striking out Tyler Austin, and now he's ahead of the rookie 0-2.
A couple of wicked sliders coming in there. You can see Torres flinching a little bit. And that's probably the biggest adjustment coming from the minor leagues to the big leagues, is the secondary pitches of big league pitching.
Doesn't chase there, 1-2. We were both impressed by some of Torres' at-bats last night against Charlie Morton, who looked so good against almost everybody in that lineup.
Well, I was going to say, once you got down to Torres and seeing what Charlie Morton had done to some of those previous big sluggers in that lineup, it was very impressive what Torres did.
Torres battled him, eventually ended up with a double that knocked Charlie out of the game after 7 2/3 innings. Verlander ahead 1-2. Sanchez on second, Andujar on first. A couple of singles in this inning against Verlander. And he got him. Torres goes down, foul tip caught by McCann. Verlander with 2 more strikeouts in the second, and the Yankees strand 2.
Going to check out Aaron Judge in that ALCS, robbing Yuli Gurriel going the other way. Not sure what took more of a beating, Aaron Judge with that wall, but again, Yuli trying to challenge him here at Minute Maid Park, and Aaron Judge did a great job. And amazingly enough, even at that size, he's a very athletic outfielder, is Aaron Judge. Currently outs above average. Aaron Judge comes in at a +1 here in 2018. Back in 2017, he's a +9. Brett Gardner, very good in left field at a +5, and Aaron Hicks, extremely athletic in center field, +3. So pretty good defenders behind New York Yankee pitching.
Yeah, I think that would surprise some people just because of his size, but he does move well, as you said. And Blummer, here we are with a new pitcher in the second inning.
Yeah, Domingo Germán, we're not sure what has happened to Jordan Montgomery. As soon as we figure it out, we will pass that on to you. Till then, Domingo's going to come out throwing heat.
And Yuli greets him with a base hit into center field. Oh, Judge couldn't rob him of a hit there because he hit it towards center. And Yuli has the Astros' first hit of the night.
Yeah, Domingo comes out with a big fastball at 95.5 miles an hour. He's averaging. Changeup comes in there firm, also 87.8 miles an hour, and a curveball. But this is a whole different dynamic. Remember, A.J. Hinch set this lineup out there to face a left-hander in Jordan Montgomery, who's no longer in the game.
And it works out well in that McCann was in the lineup, a lefty hitter, because McCann has fared well against lefties this year and against the starter Montgomery. Well, Josh Reddick may have been in that lineup if it was a righty starter. So that's the one area you don't have number 22 in there. Here's Alex Bregman. A lot of curveballs to the right-hand hitters from Herman. In fact, he'll throw more curveballs than fastballs with right-hand hitters up there. 47-48% curveballs to just 39% fastballs. And that changed the other 13% of the time. That time after starting off Bregman with a curveball, he misses with a fastball. It's 1-1. So I'm thinking this. I'm thinking because Montgomery didn't show any signs of an injury in that first inning, it's got to be something either pretty minor or maybe just not feeling well.
Yeah, you hope it's something minor, especially if you're the New York Yankees. But yeah, but to pop up that quickly, because we didn't see anything with the delivery or the way he walked off the mound.
Yankees are not going to send a kid out there at age 25 years old who's not 100%. You know, it's May 1st. So something had to crop up either in the bullpen or in that first inning where he wasn't feeling well, or maybe a blister, or we'll find out. But you would think it's something minor. 2-1 to Bregman as he fouls one away. It's 2-2. Alex batting .342 his last 11 games. Those 2 walks in last night's contest give him 20 on the season. That's tied for third in the American League.
Domingo is their long man. He's gone a high of 3 innings twice this season already. Pitched a season high last time he pitched on the 26th, throwing 55 pitches.
Well, the Yankees are going to have to eat up at least 7, possibly 8 innings with their bullpen tonight.
A lot of managers count backwards as far as outs, and AJ's had the luxury of not counting very far because his pitchers get so deep in games. Now Aaron Boone's staring at 24 outs.
Yeah, sometimes one hand, but never more than 2 hands needed to count the outs AJ needs out of the bullpen. Last night he needed just 4.
It's pretty special. And they did a great job. I even thought, even though Brad Peacock walked Aaron Judge, I thought that was a great AB.
Yuli on the move, and the pitch is grounded on the 3-2 pitch. So AJ in a full count deciding to put the runner in motion.
Well, I think that's a credit to Alex Bregman too. Since being, I don't want to call it demoted, because being demoted to the 5-6 hole in this lineup means you're going to get some RBI opportunities. But here in recent days, he has been swinging the bat extremely well out of that 6th spot. 375 in that 6th spot for the Houston Astros has been beautiful for him. So that's creeping back up a little bit, getting into that 5 spot.
Again, Yuli on the move, and Bregman shoots one to right. Yuli's going to have to freeze in his tracks as Judge makes the play, and Yuli gets back. Hit pretty well by Alex, but the big man to right tracked it down for the first out. So Herman will face Marwin Gonzalez. Nobody in this Astros lineup has more than 1 career at bat against Herman. Yuli Gurriel is now 2 for 2 against him with a home run. No one had more than 1 coming into tonight. Pitch misses to Marwin, 1-0. Drops in the breaking ball. It's 1-1. Doesn't throw that curve all too often to left-hand hitters. He uses a changeup more than the fastball against lefties, at least this season.
Get on the same page, boys.
There is that changeup that he likes against lefties, and Marwin down to the count 1-2. With 2 strikes, the Yankees will shift on Marwin and move Andujar to the right side of the infield. So the third baseman moves over. Didi Gregorius, the lone infielder on the left side. And he comes back to strike out Marwin Gonzalez. So leadoff hit by Yuli, and now a couple of outs.
Check out all of the exciting May events and promotions happening at Minute Maid Park. This month's calendar includes Pinot at the Park, Star Wars Night, Faith and Family Night, and Orbit's birthday celebration. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets and the full list of events.
Here's Evan Gattis. Drop a curveball in on Gattis to start that at bat. A lot of relievers don't even go down to the bullpen until the 3rd or 4th inning, but guys that are the long men in the bullpen, like a Domingo Germán, they're there from the first pitch on, just in case. Evan tried to hold up. He goes around. It's 0-2. And Gattis goes down swinging on the breaking ball. Strikeout number 2 for Germán, and 1 man left on base.
Houston Methodist. Enjoy pregame food and wine tastings with a special ticket package before the Astros game on Friday, May 11th. The first 500 attendees get a Pinot in the Park wine charm. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/Pinot. Justin Verlander back to work. First start in May for him, hoping to continue what he did in the month of April, though, off to such a great start. You guys have been talking about the numbers upstairs, and for him, he said, my body feels really good. And there were things that he was doing in spring training, that he was paying attention to more detail. He knew that April was a little bit of a weakness for him, so he really focused in on being ready from that first start of the season. But he wants to continue what he did that first month and keep it going for the rest of the year. However, what a great start for JV, and everybody else in that dugout has been impressed with it too.
Yeah, it's hard not to be. I mean, it's just been remarkable through the first 6 starts, and this was usually that area of the season that he didn't fare very well in his career.
Yeah, Aprils have not been good to him over the years. Slow coming out of the gates, but he changed that completely this year.
He has made now 65 starts in March or April, and coming into this season, his ERA for that first month plus of the season was 4. Every other month, the ERA below 4. The next closest, a 3.62 mark in June. So hitter beware. Justin Verlander, normally a slow starter, if that's his worst month of the season this year,
I like the way you think.
Could be a little dangerous. I mean, 2-0 the count to Brett Gardner to start the 3rd inning. Justin hit Gardner with a pitch his first time up. Brent Strom looking on. He has had an enjoyable view from the dugout all year long, watching this rotation do their thing. Gardner rips one right into the camera well and out of the camera well near where Julia's stationed.
That's not good.
Are we good down there?
How are we doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm checking the people around me. Is Karen okay? Okay, good. We're good.
Okay.
Everybody good?
Jeez.
Yes. Roll call down here.
That was scary. That hit a camera?
Coming in hot. One of the 503 cameras we have down here today.
So you're saying there's a lot of attention in the Yankees and Astros series?
More crowded than usual.
We can't even see you.
I know. I'm tucked away.
That's okay. Keep her protected back there. Hello.
You and Verducci hanging out there in the corner. There you go.
He's sitting on some kind of a box that we put together just now. Someone's on a water cooler.
Nice.
Seems legit.
We're comfy. We're in the ballpark. We're having a great time.
There you
We're
go.
not complaining.
There you go. Watch out for those line drives by Gardner, though. It's 2-2.
We've got Garrett Cole coming over to put a Band-Aid on the camera that was hit by the ball.
Did he get the right camera?
He did.
Nice. That's an observant pitcher right there. Well, the starters, you know, they need something to do on Justin's start day because they're not going to be able to talk to 35.
I'm just impressed they're in the dugout instead of upstairs watching the Dig Me tape. When you do really good and your video coordinator puts a highlight reel together, we called it a Dig Me tape. Dig Me.
The rest of the starters.
Yeah.
I was referring to the fact that they really can't just talk to Verlander.
Well, another reason to go watch the tape.
Yeah, 'cause they're on their island until Justin's out of the game.
And another idea of why Justin Verlander is as good as he is, or how other teams feel about him. That was a bunt for a strike. Out.
3-2 bunt. No, 2-2. And Gardner bunts for a strikeout.
That is a strikeout, right?
That's a strikeout. Bunting with 2 strikes. That is a mad respect tip of the cap right there. Here's Aaron Judge.
Granted, if you get it down, it catches the entire planet by surprise. But if it backfires, you've got to walk back to the dugout knowing you punched out on a bunt.
These Yankees are tired of seeing Verlander at Minute Maid Park, where he picked up his hardware last year. Now facing Aaron Judge. 5 strikeouts for Justin in the first 7 outs of the game. Backs Judge off the plate. It's 2-0. I like that, the Dig Me videos.
Yeah.
Pump you up.
Absolutely. Shiner box spotlight falls on Aaron Judge. 96.3 average exit velo versus the Astros was the highest in Major League Baseball. Pretty limited sample size considering they only play 6 times throughout the course of the season.
Swing and a miss. It's 2-2. That was power on power.
That was power on power. That was some entrance velo. 96 miles an hour. You can see how they're working Aaron Judge in that ALCS. Couple of pitches up and in, but those highlighted spots are punch outs for Justin Verlander. Might have been an elevated fastball up there and then some sliders down and away where he got the swing and miss.
Into shallow right field, long run Springer, and he makes the backhand play. He had to kind of change his path a little bit to make sure he avoided Jose Altuve for out number 2. Altuve catches almost every pop-up. He and Springer will have a little discussion on the way back to their positions.
Do you think you're not going to win this fight? I hate seeing this, but I am very thankful for the fact that these guys have been playing together for a couple years now, and they understand a little bit of that range and who's going to make that play. Good communication between Springer and Altuve.
Always having fun out there as Didi Gregorius digs in. I feel like George was motioning Jake to head a little closer to right field because he's all by himself out there. Now here comes Jake. Jake was originally shifted over to left center, and now he's a little more straight away.
Gotta listen to George. He's got a pretty good idea out there.
Breaking ball for a called strike. It's 1-1. Well, all these guys have. Jake's going to look at his card right now because all these guys have their cards either in their back pocket or in their cab. And Jake just went to the card. I know he likes George a lot and trusts George, but he's like, I want to make sure that he's telling me the right thing.
Yeah.
Because if Didi hits one in the left center field gap, I'm the one that's going to wear it.
That's exactly right.
So he went to the card in the back pocket and said, let me just double.
He's like, okay, you're right. Okay, I'll come on over.
All right.
Because they've been known to play some jokes on each other throughout the course of a season.
Bunting against the shift, and Didi Gregorius has himself a bunt hit. Fans don't like it, but in the shift, that whole left side is wide open, and that's the 3rd hit of the night allowed by Verlander.
Well, in modern day baseball, with the shifts on now, and you've got a third baseman playing shortstop, it's a great look at that side of the infield where it's wide open on our Mattress Firm Supermo. It's going to slow down that bunt even more. But they say lay down the bunt. If they're going to give you the hit, take the hit.
This guy tied for the major league lead in home runs. Bunts his way on with 2 outs, and now Giancarlo Stanton the batter. Stanton struck out swinging his first time up. Verlander has struck out 2 in the first, 2 in the second. Well, the word from the Yankees clubhouse, Blummer, is that Jordan Montgomery, today's starter, left the game with left elbow tightness. They'll undergo evaluation by the Yankees heading to New York tomorrow.
That's not good.
That's a little concerning right there. Strike to Giancarlo 0-1.
Anybody with pitching elbow tightness, you don't like where that's headed.
Pitched 1 inning tonight through 7 pitches, retired Springer, Altuve, and Correa in order, and then was taken out of the game after the first inning. Swing and a miss. Verlander ahead once again on Stanton, 0-2 like he was the first time. Good Tuesday night crowd for this Yankees and Astros rematch of the ALCS. They watched Verlander do his thing against the Yankees last October and kind of cheer him along to finish out this inning. Said he checks Gregorius at first. Stanton struck out 3 times last night, twice by Charlie Morton, once by Ken Giles. And he goes down for the 2nd time tonight. Justin Verlander pumps a fastball by him, and JV has 6 strikeouts through 3 innings. We're still scoreless heading to the bottom of the third.
Championship gold gear is available now in the Astros team store. This collection includes players' jerseys, hats, t-shirts, and more. For team store hours and location, visit astros.com/team store.
Beautiful jerseys. Astros got to wear them the first 2 games of the season at home. We're going to head to the bottom half of the third inning. It'll be Brian McCann, Jake Marisnick, and back to the top of the order for George Springer. On this Twitter Tuesday, we've asked you a couple of topics. One of them, your thoughts about Justin Verlander, what he has meant to the Astros, and what the Astros mean to him. And also, if you had a question for the general manager of your world champion Astros, Jeff Luhnow, he's going to join us in the booth next half inning. Here's Brian McCann. Count of 2-0. McCann expecting to see the lefty on the mound. Jordan Montgomery leaving the game with left elbow tightness, and Domingo Germán on for his second inning of work. Ryan slices one towards left. His former teammate Brett Gardner is there and puts it away for out number 1.
Felix got a tweet up there. It seems like Justin Verlander raises the confidence level for all Astros and fans included. I agree.
Yeah, it was such an impact to get an arm like that late in the process. Final day of August. Just eligible for the postseason. Ended up starting game 1 of the ALDS, game 2 and game 6 of the ALCS. And then back for the start of the World Series. And who knows where the Astros would have been. Certainly they were on their way to the playoffs with or without Justin Verlander, but who knows how deep they get without Verlander's postseason performance. Jake Marisnick bounces one foul. It's 0-2.
And just the timing of the whole situation. They kind of ran past the actual trade deadline on July 31st and said, now we're going to be all right. A couple of injuries. Correa goes down. Keuchel was on the shelf. McCullers on the shelf. I don't think panic ensued, but I think the idea of adding one more arm to what was already a potent team meant changing them from a playoff team to a World Series contending and now championship team.
Yeah, it just allowed you to push everybody back a game 2 instead of, starting out with Keuchel or Morton, Keuchel or McCullers. It was now Keuchel in game 2, and you could save those other guys for later on in the series.
Chatting with some of the the guys that were on that team last year when he came over, everyone's saying the same thing. There was something about when he walked into the room, and Colin McHugh was saying, you're not scared of him, but there is a presence when he walks into the room. You know he's in there. It's just he's very confident in his ability. And I loved what Evan Gattis said before the season started, saying, never settle. I know that's our mantra, but that's exactly what we think of Justin Verlander. That's how he lives his life. This is the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, he has an impact on everybody in that room, and especially the starting rotation. You know, we rarely see a game where all 4 other starters aren't out there watching that 5th member of the rotation.
Yeah, we don't show a lot of shots in the dugout throughout the course of the seasons. But before Justin showed up, that might have been a little bit different. I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus or say it's right or wrong, but there was not a consistency as far as a presence of starting pitchers in that dugout. Since Justin Verlander shows up, we've always seen Justin out there.
Off the glove of Andujar, Springer laid out of the box. He's still going to beat it out. An infield hit on a line drive that Andujar had momentarily and then dropped. And George to be on with a hit.
He hit that so hard it went in and out of the glove of Andujar at third base. The joys of third base, get ready and then knock it down. That was a bullet. Andujar gave it a pretty good shot, but that is coming in extremely quick. Good hustle by George too, because Andujar was looking to recover and make the play.
But George was thinking, here we go again. According to the StatCast, he is hitting the toughest luck on this Astros team this year.
That would have been really tough luck.
Altuve swings and misses.
103 miles an hour off the bat.
What Jeff Bagwell was referring to in our Saturday broadcast when he joined us as part of a 3-man booth is George will follow up lining out to somebody at 103 and watch the next guy, Altuve, flip one into the outfield. There's a ball just foul down the third baseline. All made by John Tumpain at third base. Looked like it just missed the bag, but it was pretty close.
Ooh, good call. Gary was getting his run shoes on because he was ready to put on that wheel motion and drive George into home plate.
Now Altuve down to the count 0-2. This is where Altuve starts to go to work. It's crazy to think about his average when he's behind in the count, but he's second best in all of baseball. When he gets behind in the count, he's batting .370.
Still doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
There is no panic in Jose Altuve. It might be the fact that he's able to hit so many bad pitches for hits. So many tough pitches for hits.
Reached out and sent this one into center field. Coming on Hicks, and he's going to get there for the final out of the inning. So Altuve flies out to center. 1 man left on base. We're heading to the 4th in a scoreless game. A Twitter Tuesday, and we had a viewer earlier send this one. Matt was saying, always consider the Johnson or Beltran or even the Bagwell deal the best in team history in terms of a trade. With what Justin Verlander has done already, is it time to consider his deal the best? And we have the guy who is the architect of that deal joining us here in the booth, Jeff Luhnow. Thanks for joining us, GM of the Astros.
Of course.
How exciting is it to see not only what Justin's done, the whole pitching staff so far this year?
It's been amazing. I mean, Justin came in last year, was the MVP of the ALCS, but to come out this year and continue to dominate the way he's been doing really makes it easier for everybody. And of course, our entire rotation has been performing well, so makes it easier on the bullpen, which gives the offense a little bit of a break. So it's been pretty nice. If we can win 2 out of every 3 games we play this year, we'll be in good shape.
You're going to be in great shape. How do you explain them being able to be so good every start they've been out there so far?
I think they challenge each other, to be honest with you, and everybody wants to do, make sure they hold up their end of the bargain. It's not even about one-upping the guy. It's just trying to match the guy that pitched the night before.
And Justin has self-admittedly been a slow starter.
Yeah.
April's never been his best month, so it kind of should scare the rest of the league to see what he's done early on this year.
It really should. He's been incredible. And, last year he got off to a relatively slow start and got a lot better in August, and obviously September was very good.
Little ground ball there off the bat of Gary Sanchez.
Charlie Morton gets hurt in 2016, throwing a couple games for the Phillies, I believe, at the time.
Yep.
Explain to me, the Verlander pickup's easy. Justin Verlander's legit.
Yeah, he's that
Charlie
MVP.
Morton's good, but what did you see in Charlie that you knew he was going to have this kind of velo, number one, and deal the way he has been?
Well, we saw the velo tick up with Philly before he got hurt, so we knew it was in there. We loved the sink on his pitches, loved everything about his pitches. And, these days we have so much more information about pitchers from other teams. So we had all that information. The big question for us is, could we keep him healthy? And Jeremiah Randall, who's our head athletic trainer, had been in Pittsburgh, had been with Charlie. And we asked him, how many starts can we get out of this guy if we trade for him? And he said, I think I can get you 20 starts a year. So we said, okay, we're going to do a 2-year deal here. And lo and behold, it's absolutely paid off.
It's been remarkable, and Charlie's numbers have been phenomenal. And then speaking of Pittsburgh, Garrett Cole comes over here. I'm still stunned that he never had back-to-back double-digit strikeout games before this season, because it seems like that's all he does as an Astro.
It's all he's been doing since UCLA. I mean, the guy's got electric stuff. I scouted him as a first-rounder back in 2011 and wasn't picking that high in the draft, but loved him. And we had talked to them about Garrett Cole last summer. The price was just way too high at that point. So we switched our efforts to Verlander, but so glad we were able to get them both at the end of the day.
Pretty amazing.
Thankfully, those rumors weren't true, because there were rumors that he was going to the other side. Hey, we have another Twitter question. You've done a great job with the team, shoring up. Any addition or change you'd still like to make at this point? This team looks pretty darn good out there.
The team's pretty complete. We always worry about depth. We got a lot of guys at AAA playing well. So we have the depth in our system, but right now, the reality is we've got a great rotation. The way Ken Giles looked last night, the way Devo looked, Harris has been looking good. We talk about maybe a left-handed reliever that could come in, and a lefty specialist to help out, but that's nitpicking. I think we got a pretty good ball club.
Extremely good. You mentioned AAA, so I've got to bring up that one guy that everybody keeps talking about. I think he swings left-handed. Not Ted, but Kyle. Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, well, his brother's off to a good start with that lineup.
Yeah, great start over there.
Josh Bonifay is our field coordinator, and he's here this week working with us, and he's been to Fresno, and he said Kyle got off to, sort of a medium start, but that he's really started to pick up recently. So there's no question Kyle Tucker is going to be in this lineup and a big part of this lineup in the future. Now, when that starts depends both on need as well as how he continues to progress, because we got to remember he was in high school 3 years ago at this time, got drafted towards the top of the draft, and he's had a lot of good development, but there's probably still some finishing touches.
Great breaking ball there by Verlander. He's ahead 1-2. I'm not sure how much time we'll have for this answer, but you mentioned how good the rotation's been in setting up the bullpen. We see so many teams that have even played the Astros recently come in with tired bullpens. That's quite a luxury.
It is, and teams are, like the Yankees, are playing a long stretch of consecutive games, and obviously their starter going out tonight doesn't help.
That was a quick inning. You timed it well, Jeff.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Jeff. Thanks.
Jeff Luhnow, general manager of the Astros, joining us in the top half of the fourth. Verlander getting through that inning with 2 strikeouts and a ground out. We're still scoreless.
ALCS Game 2. Jose Altuve on first. Carlos Correa. Bullet to right field, and the speed putting pressure on that Yankees defense, leading to that walk-off win for the Houston Astros.
That's the crazy part. As phenomenal as Justin Verlander was that game, and 9 innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball with 13 punch-outs, he ends up with a no decision unless the Astros score there in the bottom half of the 9th inning to win it 2-1. And the Astros did put a lot of pressure. Judge got over to the ball in a hurry. And then one of the things you talked about in our Baseball Basics Sunday was one of your keys, hitting the cutoff man. And we'll get another chance to look at that play again in this inning. But there were 2 guys out there, and Judge's throw kind of went in between the 2. And then the relay throw, short hop, Gary Sanchez. Gary Pettis took a big chance, and it paid off.
Pays off a lot because he takes a lot of chances.
Correa flied out to center his first time up. He was the last batter to face Jordan Montgomery, who left the game after 1 inning with left elbow tightness. Domingo Germán on for his 3rd full inning of work. Astros only have 2 hits. Leadoff single by Yuli Gurriel. A line drive infield single by George Springer. But now Correa ahead of the count, 3-1.
Interesting position for Gleyber Torres, literally right behind the pitcher.
And a walk. Astros have a leadoff runner on in the 5th. Excuse me, in the 4th.
Game 2, again, that same play. Starlin Castro starts out there, and that's the initial cutoff man. And with that throw going over Starlin Castro's head, it long the hops Didi Gregorius at shortstop. And in doing so, it might have given Altuve that extra half step to get him in there. But that's not an ideal ball either for Didi Gregorius to come up throwing on. Tough short hop for Gary Sanchez at home plate. If that ball is there in the fly, it might be a different story.
And then Carlos hustling his way into second base just created that little bit of distraction too for Gregorius, who had to throw over the sliding Correa. And may have helped create that little short hop. Here's Yuli Gurriel. Yuli has a single. And he's down to the count here, 0-2. Yuli singled as the first batter against Germán in the 2nd inning. Also has a home run against him in the only other time he faced this Yankees right-hander. This is the corner, 1-2. Remember, at the time, it did not look like it was going to work out for Gary Pettis and the Astros when Altuve was coming around and that ball was coming in from the outfield, because Judge did do a good job cutting it off. But then that celebration would start soon thereafter.
And the only, just watching the middle infielders, having played so much middle infield, run around first.
Base hit by Yuli. He's now 3 for 3 in his career against Germán.
The runner on first base, ball hitting the gap. The thought process of the middle infielder has to be line up to home plate. And if he catches this ball here and he's lining up to home plate, that's where my concern sets in, is that Starlin Castro is coming to this point and Didi Gregorius stays here. So the ball is essentially going towards third base and not towards home plate. And that's what creates a little more length on the throw and a little more in between the transaction between the catch and throw for Didi Gregorius.
Bregman into right center field, and Judge is there. Makes the catch for out number 1. And that's a case too, as a middle infielder. As soon as that ball's hit, You have to determine whether the play is going to be at third or at home. You think initially they're thinking play is going to be at third, and then as the ball.
That's what it felt like to me. As an infielder, and you do it in spring training, ball in the gap, man on first. How about taking into account Jose Altuve at first base? He can run. He's pretty fleet of foot. So line up towards home plate. You can line up to home plate, and if you can turn and throw to third base, but you want to line up primarily to get that lead out, get that lead base.
That was quite a night and quite a game. Game 2 of the ALCS. Astros taking a 2-0 lead into the Bronx. Home team won every game in that ALCS. Only the 5th time ever in postseason. The home team won every game. Called strike, it's 0-1.
There you go. Should Gary be lining up Didi, or is that high school ball? No. As a middle infielder, it's tough in that situation. The ALCS, this place is packed and it is loud as can all. I mean, it's amazingly loud in here. But the job is of Didi Gregorius and Starlin Castro is to take a peek over their shoulder, recognize home plate, and put themselves in between Aaron Judge and home plate. So that's, you can say it's high school ball, but it translates. The fundamentals carry themselves through the levels.
Harwood down to the count 0-2. Gary is always going to err on the side of being aggressive, and that was one of the more aggressive sends in his career. He was announced on stage for the parade. He came out there waving a runner home. There's a pitch that misses. 1-2. Correa on second, he walked. Yuli on first, he singled left. Astros trying to score the first run of this game. Both teams with 3 hits. Both teams have been shut out thus far. Marwin takes one close down low. It's 2-2. Herman out of the bullpen has thrown 43 pitches. And we're going to have a little visit on the mound as Sanchez goes out to talk to Domingo Herman.
It's a great view of Altuve also.
And you can hear the crowd. No chance for anything Sanchez may or have wanted to convey to the infielders. That place was ballistic.
It was rocking. There have been moments I've been on a diamond where it's gotten extremely loud in situations like that, and you can feel the floor of the stadium, the field shaking just ever so slightly. So there's a lot going on in those plays, but it goes back to the fundamentals. You line up to the base that you're going to, and if you got to take a peek over your shoulder to make sure you're in the right spot, go ahead and do it. It gives the outfielder a good visual too, because I'm sure Aaron Judge was coming up thinking home.
In the dirt, Marwin was down to the count 0-2, and now the count's full. Another great moment in the 2017 postseason. So many little plays that were pivotal that, had they gone one way or the other, could have spelled the difference between the Astros winning it all or having a frustrating postseason again.
And on the other side of the baseball, the Astros played absolutely perfect defense. Marwin Gonzalez, not a natural left fielder, made some great plays. The relay throw from Josh Reddick to Carlos Correa all the way across the diamond to get Gardner at third base.
Slowly hit towards the mound. Herman to second for 1, and they turn 2 on Marwin to get through the 4th inning. Gonzalez grounds into a double play, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 4th. app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season and get Astros home screen icons and features such as MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. Fun way to follow along the Astros and Justin Verlander tonight making his 7th start of the year. In his career against the Yankees, this is his 19th start. And his 17th start with the Astros, including postseason. First batter he will face in the 5th inning is Tyler Austin. He struck out Austin his first time up. Verlander with 2 strikeouts in the first, 2 strikeouts in the second, 2 more in the 3rd and the 4th. As Austin sends one into left center field, and coming on is Marwin. Makes the play for out number 1.
Our Best in Texas Power pitch is presented by Ford. Pitch usage in that ALCS versus the Yankees for Justin Verlander. Heavy on that fastball at 58%, 214 batting average against that. Slider at 27%, curveball, a couple of changeups, nothing really necessary when you've got that much dominant stuff as far as fastball, slider, curveball. And again, he does have that very good curveball that has that north to south break, and then that slider, a little bit more slight tilt to it. But in that playoff series, I think what we don't talk about enough either is people didn't know if it was a cutter or a slider, and he was throwing that slider at 91, 92 miles an hour.
That's why people thought it was a cutter.
Yeah, because that's a standard human's cutter.
Well, he gets up for the big moments, and he had his share of them in an Astros uniform in one season, not even a season, in a month of the regular season, a month of the postseason. Ended up starting that first home game in the clinching game for the AL West. Ahead of Gleyber Torres 0-2, and Torres fouls one down the right field line. Long run Springer, and he will run out of room. Verlander needed only 10 pitches to get through the 4th inning, despite the high strikeout total. Still at a pretty good pitch count. Had thrown 58 pitches through 4. Swing and a miss. McCann's going to have to make the play down the first, and he does. Gleyber Torres strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. That's 9 for Justin Verlander.
Speaking of the place shaking, I was at the gas pump in left center for World Series Game 5. That had to be exciting, but it was actually a little terrifying a few times. I can only imagine that.
I'm not sure how much more intense a game can get than Game 5 of the World Series.
Oh. Now imagine playing in that game and having to show up the next day. Luckily it was a travel day for those guys.
Right.
But if you had to play the next day, I'm not sure if there'd be any energy left in those guys to come back out.
Well, there was definitely a huge deflation in this building when the game headed to the bottom half of the night.
Yeah.
Because they had worked so hard, come back twice against Clayton Kershaw, and then to be up 3 going into the 9th inning for the Dodgers to tie it down to their last out. The building was like, we just don't have anything else to give, but they certainly did by the time Alex Bregman rolled around in the 10th inning.
And to end on such a huge high with Bregman driving in Derek Fisher, the elation. So I don't know if it was more knowing they were going to win the game or knowing that the game couldn't go on any longer.
That was a game that was about 5 hours and 15 minutes, and it was pretty much nonstop action throughout.
You do have to give the Dodgers a little bit of credit in that ball game for fighting too, because they could have just thrown everything in and said, man, they just came back on Kershaw. Our bullpen's not getting it done. It's theirs, but they continue to swing it.
3-0 the count to Brett Gardner. Takes a strike. Gardner was hit by a pitch, then his 2nd time up he tried to bunt with 2 strikes and bunted 1 foul.
You guys talking about the long game. I got to interview Brian McCann after that, who's caught long games in the playoffs before, including that 18-inning game against the Astros when he was with the Braves. and just exhausted afterwards. But good to catch up with him because it meant everything to be out there and catch every pitch of it.
Ryan McCann was pinch run for by Derek Fisher once he got to second base. And there you see McCann as part of the celebration. Swing and a miss. Verlander, 2 more strikeouts. He has had 2 punch-outs every inning. He has 10 through 5. Astros and the Yankees are scoreless heading to the bottom of the 5th.
Exclusive piece of jewelry from the Jostens World Championship collection, available at the ballpark and online all season. The collection features pieces for women, men, and children. For more info, visit astros.com/thering. And these earrings that you're looking at right there, I've got them on right now. I've been showing them off all day. You know what's coming, guys? Mother's Day. Great idea for Mother's Day.
Brilliant.
If you come to the ballpark anytime this month, make sure you head out to that store out there and see what else they have. But these earrings would be a great grab.
Evan Gattis leading off for the Astros. Down to the count 0-1. Now 0-2 as he tried to hold up, but went around. Evan struck out his first time up. Bingo Herman in his 4th inning of work so far has allowed a hit in every inning. But he's limited the damage to 3 singles. Also walked Carlos Correa. He has struck out 3. As he starts the 5th, facing Evan Gattis, Brian McCann, and Jake Marisnick. Evan sends one to left. Gardner is there for out number 1. Herman's done a nice job coming out of the bullpen. He's been matching zeros with Justin Verlander since Jordan Montgomery left the game. McCann flied to left his first time up. Herman's a guy who started in the Marlins organization. Signed by the Yankees as a minor league free agent leading into the 2016 season. McCann hits one hard, but into the ship. Gleyber Torres from shallow right makes the play. And that's 2 away in the 5th inning. Time to play Name That Astro, brought to you by Nissan. The clues tonight, acquired from the Yankees, booth review, and Schmidt happens. Send your guesses to @ATT Sportsnet SW.
Glad Baggy wasn't reading those clues.
Yep, that's what I was thinking. Here's Jake Marisnick. Want to know the count. We love Jeff Bagwell. Can't wait for him to join us again in our once-a-month broadcast with Baggy in the 3-man booth. Unscientifically, that had about a 98% approval rating.
Yes, I am with you on that.
There he is.
I'm surprised he didn't break in.
Got to get him a wireless mic.
Just have him call the game from down there.
It's a little pop-up in the shallow right. And being called off was Torres, and Judge never made the play. Looked like Gleyber Torres was going to make the catch, and he felt a big presence coming in from right field. Whether Judge called him off or not, he left the premises, and Judge didn't make the play.
That's an interesting thought, actually. If you're an infielder going out there, you are aware of that man coming in. Torres didn't say anything. He peeled off as if Aaron Judge had called that baseball. Got to give a lot of credit to Jake Marisnick. Head down, running, might be a little upset, but he's taking it out by running hard. And when he sees the joy of that baseball landing on the earth, untouched, and he ended up at second base. Beautiful. Good for Jake.
Gleyber made his debut just 9 days ago. And I'm sure they had their share of reps in spring training, but they probably haven't had a lot of time together. Whether Judge was saying, I got it, or you take it, that could be misconstrued.
Yep.
There was certainly some miscommunication as Torres looked like he had the play lined up, and instead it drops in for a 2-out double. Here's Springer.
We saw a play in the Anaheim series where Cole Calhoun was coming in with Ian Kinsler, and Kinsler peeled off because one of the fans may have spoke up a little too loud. So again, we talked about the ALCS noise affecting some of the relays. Maybe here it affected probably that play also.
It goes as a double, and see if the Astros can take advantage, even though it's not an error, of the extra out. Springer with a 1-0 count. Now it's 2-0. George hit a ball over 100 miles an hour his last time up, almost caught by Andujar in third. But it went in and out of his glove, and George ended up with an infield hit. Chad Green starting to loosen up in the Yankees bullpen, as Domingo Germán approaches 60 pitches in this game. George holds up. It's 3-0. Altuve waits on deck. Plummer mentioned when Germán came into the game, his high pitch count last outing, 55 pitches through 3 innings. He's a guy that can give the Yankees some length in that bullpen, but anything over 50 pitches, you start to wonder. Strike.
It's a changeup.
Rio change piece to George.
Man, oh man.
Well, with a base open, if you're going to go change up to George on 3-0, do you back it up on 3-1?
Why not? Throw the heater, it might get smashed. And he did throw the changeup.
Backed it up. 3-0 and 3-1 changeups. That was a pretty good one.
That's impressive. He threw a better one in the 3-1 count.
So now if you're Springer, you're not sure what to think. 3-0 changeup for a called strike. 3-1 changeup for a swinging strike. Now the count's full. George having a good homestand, batting over 350 with a couple of home runs. Trying to hold up, and he goes around. Springer strikes out to end the fifth. 4 strikeout for Herman. A bloop double and a man stranded. We head to the 6th, still scoreless.
By T-Mobile. AJ saying that his starting pitching was going to go right after this good offensive club, and that's exactly what Justin Verlander has done today. And what he usually does, he's attacking these hitters using the high fastball to blow it by Giancarlo Stanton, not once but twice today, and then getting judged on the slider. He's about to see these guys for the 3rd time through. We'll see how he attacks them, but 10 Ks through 5 is pretty good. CC Sabathia, guys, on the other side, he's watched Verlander for years. Said today, Verlander just keeps getting better. The velo is still up there, and then he's got the ability to pitch. He's pretty impressed by it. TK?
Yeah, it's crazy to see Verlander's numbers year to year, and the velocity as he deals with Aaron Judge here to start the 6th. The velocity is not going anywhere. If anything, it's moved up at age 35 from where he was a couple of years ago.
Well, I was going to say, it was 2010, 11, 12-ish, where things just weren't right. He was dealing with some injuries and things like that. When you lose velo, you have a tendency to learn how to pitch, but since he's gotten that velo back and the combination of being able to pitch like Julia was talking about, my goodness.
It has been a joy to watch Justin Verlander every time out in an Astros uniform, and he's in another good one tonight. No runs scored for either side. Yankees have 3 hits. Astros have 4. It'll be the meat of the order here in the 6th inning. Aaron Judge, Didi Gregorius, and Giancarlo Stanton. Judge is struck out and flied out to right. He's ahead of the count here, 3-1.
Tell you what, is Justin Verlander going to challenge him 3-1? Mano a mano.
That's his MO as he challenges hitters.
He did. That was beautiful. Might have been a little low for Aaron Judge, standing up there at about 6'9". But that was a great pitch. He came right back with that fastball. That's how you kind of develop that legendary status, by saying, yep, I got a heater and I'm going to come at you with it. Does he do it again 3-2? Or does he set him up?
He bats down from nobody. 98 at the knees. Verlander's 11th strikeout.
That was awesome.
3-1, 3-2 heat at the knees.
Woo. That is spectacular. The reaction from Aaron Judge.
Wow.
That was fun to watch.
Here's Didi. Gregorius has an infield hit on a bunt. And with that in mind, Bregman's a little closer to the infield, a little closer to the line as Didi swings through the first pitch. It's 0-1.
I got a little tingly after that.
That was fun.
Wow.
Aaron Judge in a hitter's count couldn't pull the trigger on 2 fastballs at the knees. And now Verlander ahead 0-2. A little more electricity in the crowd after that first at bat of this inning. Now JB trying to get Didi Gregorius, who may be the player of the month in the month of April with what he has done. Highest slugging percentage, most RBIs, 10 home runs. It's down and in, 1-2. Verlander hit the first batter of the game, Brett Gardner. He allowed a couple of hits in the second inning. Sanchez and Andujar allowed that hit by Gregorius on the bunt single. Other than that bunt single, he's retired 12 of 13. The only man to reach was Gregorius in that stretch, and now check swing keeps us count at 1-2. High fly ball right field. Gregorius got under it. George Springer is there. That's 2 outs.
Watch the Astros in more ways than ever before by downloading the new AT&T Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit AT&TSportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply.
Here's Giancarlo Stanton 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Verlander keeps challenging him with the fastball. It's 0-1. 97 on that last one. This is the point of the game. 80 pitches and beyond, where Verlander's velocity actually increases.
Yeah, there's a little angst behind some of these pitches.
Saw 98 against Judge, 97 against Stanton. Here's 98. It's 0-2.
21 swing and misses with that swing and miss from Giancarlo Stanton so far in this ball game for Justin Verlander.
Fly ball right field. Challenge him with 3 fastballs. He got the last one in the air. Springer puts it away. Verlander, a 3-hit shutout through 6 with 11 strikeouts.
In a battle of epic proportions, finished off by the veteran coming right after the Judge.
Nissan. Today our clues were acquired from the Yankees, booth review, and Schmidt happens. Jim DeShays. JD and Brownie, great years in the Astros broadcast booth, now with the Chicago Cubs, working with Len Casper. 61-59 with the Astros after being acquired in the Joe Niekro deal. Of course, that time in the Astros booth, and then he did allow Hall of Famer Mike Schmidt's 548th and final home run of his career.
He was a lot of fun to golf with.
Yeah?
I spent a few years golfing with Brownie, JD, a couple of guys in the truck when I came through as a Houston Astro.
This is why you're playing?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I was all Johannes Cespedes about things.
No, I didn't mean like that. Just wanted to,
Obviously didn't affect my swing.
It was a few years ago, not recently.
Yeah, no, first go around 02-03, got to know those guys pretty well. And then when I came back in 8, 9, and 10, it was just a natural fit that we'd go out and play some golf and have some good times together.
Jose Altuve facing a new pitcher for the New York Yankees. The right-hander Chad Green takes over. Nice outing by Domingo Germán as he goes 4 innings of shutout baseball. Now it's Green's turn.
Yeah, that was impressive stuff by Germán, but now we've got another flamethrower coming out of that Yankee bullpen. Chad brings it around 95 miles an hour. He is a fastball slider guy.
They have 4 different arms out of that bullpen that average over 95 miles an hour, and Green's able to get Altuve on the slider. Throws that slider more to right-hand hitters than lefties. And he picks up a strikeout with it, 1 out in the 6th.
And a power slider at that, 88 miles an hour. Big boy out there.
Saw Germán average 95.5. This guy about the same. And then you've got Betances, who averages 97 with his fastball, and Aroldis Chapman, who averages 98.5. Here's Carlos Correa. Correa takes a called strike. Astros trying to score just at least one to try and help out the incredible outing so far from Justin Verlander. Verlander has gone 6 innings and has retired 14 of the last 15 batters. Only batter to reach since 1 out in the 2nd was a bunt hit by Didi Gregorius. Carlos down on the count 0-2. Up the middle, and there is Torres, and Gleyber, the rookie, makes the play. Route number 2. The bases are cleared for Yuli Gurriel. Yuli owns half the hits tonight for the Astros. He has 2 of the 4, a couple of singles. Yuli playing in his 16th game after missing the beginning of the season. That fractured hamate bone suffered in the early portion of spring training. Sharply hit at the first baseman. Tyler Austin makes the play. Green comes in with a strong 1-2-3 6th inning. First time the Astros have been sent down in order since the 1st.
presented by Mercedes-Benz. The great Don Wilson throws his first of 2 no-hitters at the Reds, May 1st, 1969. 13 punch-outs in that game. He also had 6 walks. The Reds left 7 runners stranded. The Astros winning that ball game 4-0. Pretty impressive stuff. The Cincinnati Reds threw out their Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Johnny Bench. Some decent names in that lineup that Don Wilson went through.
Yeah, the crazy part was the day before, the Reds had thrown a no-hitter against the Astros.
Payback, huh?
A little payback for Don Wilson. Jim Maloney had no-hit the Astros the day earlier. And then number 40, Don Wilson, returned the favor on this date in 1969. On we go to the 7th of a scoreless game. Verlander facing Gary Sanchez, Aaron Hicks, and Miguel Andujar. Justin, as sometimes is the case, seems to be getting stronger as the game goes along. He misses with Sanchez. It's 1-0. Sanchez singled against Verlander his first time up, grounded out to short his last time. The only 2 hitters in this lineup that have not struck out tonight against Verlander are Sanchez and Didi Gregorius. Verlander ahead of Sanchez, a ball and 2 strikes.
Man, say hello to Mr. Bender. It's pretty good. It's amazing watching some of these breaking balls that Astro pitchers throw. Just the natural instinct of some hitters. The brain is telling their body that shouldn't be happening. That's why you see them flinch. They don't assume that that ball is going to be able to break back in the zone.
He got him. Now he's gotten Sanchez. He picked up a strikeout on 8 of the 9 hitters tonight. That's now 12 punch-outs for Justin Verlander.
Some great moments in history, and this is one of them. Yes. There's a flinch and then just absolute panic setting in. That's a big league hitter on a championship potential team.
That was a nasty pitch by Verlander. To get Todd Frazier swinging in that emergency hack. Aaron Hicks swings at the first pitch and pops a foul.
In case you didn't see it earlier, this is just breaking it down just a little bit more. We apologize to Todd Frazier, but that was incredible.
New season high for Justin. Broken bat. Springer. He's made 3 putouts of the last 4 hitters for the Yankees. 2 outs in the 7th. This week on Astros Bases Loaded, Julia sits down for a helping of deep dish pizza and baseball with AJ Hinch. Plummer dives into the details about launch angle, and we'll give you an inside look at Astros Photo Day. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded Fridays before pregame and re-airing all week long only on AT&T Sportsnet. Miguel Andujar. He owns 1 of the 4 hits against Verlander. 1 of the 3 hits against Justin, excuse me. It's the last hit that reached the outfield. That was back in the 2nd inning. His single to right moves Sanchez to 2nd, and then Verlander struck out Tyler Austin and Gleyber Torres. There's a nice breaking ball dropped in for a strike, 1-1.
Watch the hitter. Hands go up, flinch. No way that becomes a strike. Sure is.
Ahead of the count, 0-2. Excuse me, 1-2. A strikeout in every inning. 2 in the first 5. 1 in the 6th. And the first out of the 7th. With all these strikeouts, still sitting at 92 pitches. He has thrown 66 strikes. 26 outside of the strike zone. Two and two. He got him. 13 in a row sent down by Verlander on his 13th strikeout of the night. Still scoreless. 7th inning stretch time at Minute Maid Park.
Chevy Stropole. Thanks for voting. Thanks for following us as always. Who would you choose as the Astros Player of the Month for March and April? Wow, look at Garrett Cole running away with it today. 63%. Charlie Morton coming in second. Oh, look at Altuve down there. You don't see that every day. You don't see that ever.
You just giggle at Altuve? That's not nice.
I am not giggling at Altuve. That's just crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before.
No, if we put Altuve's name on any poll in my 6 years here, he's winning.
You're right. He even got 5% of the tallest player.
Just popularity gets him more than 3%, doesn't it? But that tells you how good Garrett Cole's been.
Cole 45 getting a lot of love from Astros fans. Well, Verlander has set down the Yankees through 7 innings, and now the Yankees going to their 4th pitcher of the night. Part of that's injury related. Dellin Betances.
Yeah, we saw Dellin Betances in last night's ball game, pitched well. He is another flamethrower for them. 97-mile-an-hour heaters. Also has that big curveball. Command can become an issue for Dellin Betances.
He will throw that curveball quite often.
How often, Todd?
61.5% of the time, Glummer. Glad you asked.
That's frequently for a guy who throws 97 miles an hour.
38.5% fastball and 61.5% curveball. He does get a lot of strikeouts on the curveball, but he's behind Bregman 2-0. There's a fastball placed nicely at the knees on the outside corner. It's 2-1. See if the Astros offense can get anything going. It's been a little bit of a quiet night. They've had just 1 runner in the 4th and 1 runner in the 5th reach second base. The runner who reached second base in the 5th was on basically a botched pop-up. Jake Marisnick sent one in the shallow right that fell in between Torres and Aaron Judge. Runner that got there in the fourth was Carlos Correa, who walked, and then Yuli Gurriel followed with a single. Not a lot of scoring opportunities for either side. And now Betances with the count full against Alex Bregman.
Somehow, some way, we need to get Derek Fisher to pinch run.
Yeah. Seems to be the magic mojo off the bench for the Astros this year. 3-2. Bregman missed the curveball. Actually caught a piece of it, but it was caught by Sanchez. And Betances strikes out the first batter he faces.
Well, just to give you an idea of how often he throws that curveball you're talking about, Todd, I think he was sitting on that breaking ball, just missed it in a 3-2 count.
Yeah, it looked like he was right on it timing-wise, just got a piece of it. And now Marwin Gonzalez bats. The good news is the Yankees have had to go to 3 of their 4 pitchers out of the bullpen who throw 95 plus on average with their fastball. Just Aroldis Chapman still out there amongst those flamethrowers. And the Astros haven't even had one warm-up pitch thrown into their bullpen all night long with what Justin Verlander is doing. There's a strike called. 1-1 the count to Marwin.
The Astros have been better on off speed this season and breaking balls as opposed to 94+ mile-an-hour fastballs. This season they're 29th in Major League Baseball, hitting a 192 against the Heat.
Towards the middle and through. That's a base hit for Marwin. He's a 1-out base runner in the 7th. Host clients or celebrate special occasions with Astros premium seating. Minute Maid Park has a variety of seating options, including club and suite level seats for any group size. Visit astros.com/suites or call 1-877-9-ASTROS to reserve your premium seats today. Here's Evan Gattis. That one's to the backstop on the breaking ball. That sends Marwin to second base. Just the 3rd Astros runner to get into scoring position in this game.
There's some of the wildness. Gary Sanchez needed a fishing pole to get to that one.
It has been a struggle lately for Evan Gattis, but his last 3 plate appearances against Betances, a sacrifice fly, a home run, and a walk. Chase there. It's 1-1. Sanchez and Betances talk it over with a runner at second base and 1 out. Kind of a long discussion for those two. Mark Wegner was making his way out. Now the discussion breaks up.
That could have been a change in signs with the runner at second base, mixing things up here. First visit of this ball game between either team. But again, catchers have a tendency to have to play psychologist sometimes with these guys too. Maybe calm Dylan Betances down with that runner at second.
Going to the curveball. Sanchez smothers it. It's 2-1. Well, the numbers are out. Everybody can look at them, and the Yankees probably have the same numbers on Evan Gattis this year. Against the breaking ball coming in, Evan had struggled. He's only batting .048. Struck out against the breaking ball from Domingo Germán his first time up. Betances loves to throw that curveball. And Evan can expect probably a high dose of curveballs, but see if he stays in the zone here. 2-1. It's a curveball for a strike.
I'd like to see that base hit with the runner in scoring position. The Astros at 254 on the season. I'd also like to see it before they get to 2 outs. They drop down to 159 in that situation with 2 outs.
Way outside. It's 3-2. Oh, Betances has missed on a wild pitch, and that last pitch was way outside. And it counts 3-2 on Evan Gattis. Crowd's starting to make some noise and try and rally this offense. The lack of scoring opportunities tonight, you would think anything to the outfield. Gary Pettis will send Marwin home with 1 out, barring a line drive right at one of the outfielders. And a foul curveball, first one in the strike zone.
That was Altuve-esque, getting on the tippy toes to foul that one off. And yes, if you're wondering at home, Evan Gattis is struggling and he knows it. He is in for the fight of his life right now. That is why you're seeing him knock himself in the back with that bat. He is trying to get things going, trying to get back to who Evan Gattis is.
Fastball, swing and a miss, 97. Betances placed it well, low in the zone. And that's 2 outs in the inning.
It's not a comfortable spot to be, but there were plenty of pitches well off the zone in that AB.
So now it's up to Brian McCann. McCann was a teammate with Dellin Betances in his years in New York, and the only time he faced him as a hitter, McCann has a single. Coming into this series, it only faced him once, did face him in last night's game. Hit the ball hard, he lined out to center field. First pitch swinging, got the fastball at 98 and popped it foul behind the plate.
Brian wanted that one. Like the aggressiveness too. Runner at second base. There's nobody on first. Jake Marisnik, a right-handed hitter, on deck. There is left-handed help. Derek Fisher and Josh Reddick both available off the bench. Maybe a little concerned because Brian was on that fastball.
I think you're right.
Concerned about maybe Marwin relaying signs to the hitter Brian McCann being ready for that fastball. Don't want to overcomplicate things too much right here, right now.
Third mound visit for the Yankees, and this one is another extended discussion. McCann trying to help out his battery mate Justin Verlander, looking for a little 2-out base hit here with Marwin on second. Down to the count 0-2. Well, high octane fastballs. And he breaks the curveball over. That was a tough sequence. McCann goes down looking. Nice job by Betances striking out the last 2 hitters in the inning, and 3 overall. We're scoreless. Fun night at the ballpark tonight. Another pitcher's duel in this Yankees and Astros series as Justin Verlander heads into the 8th inning. Greg wants an Astros jersey that just says starting rotation on the back. Tyler Austin leads things off against Verlander. And Justin starts him off with a called strike. Verlander has retired 13 in a row. He has struck out 13. The only batter to reach of the last 18 was a bunt hit by Didi Gregorius back in the 3rd. The stretch of retiring 17 out of 18 began with Tyler Austin striking out in the 2nd inning. 1-1 the count. Verlander has a career high of 14 strikeouts. He's done that twice. The last time against the New York Yankees back in 2012. Two and two. Verlander has had 6 innings with 2 strikeouts apiece. Struck out 1 in the 6th inning. On the ground, Correa to the backhand. Long throw out at first base. Verlander pumped up by the play from Carlos Correa.
Greatness recognizing greatness. Carlos Correa, great first step. Just an unbelievable play. The physicality and strength it takes to make that play is truly impressive.
His defense has been beyond special so far this year. Now a breaking ball for a called strike to Torres. Torres, who battled so well last night against Charlie Morton, has struck out twice today against Verlander. Justin at 100 pitches. Fly ball into right field. Springer is there. 2 outs. Bases cleared. Brett Gardner will bat for the 4th time tonight. Hit by a pitch. Breaking ball hit him on the knee his first time up. Struck out bunting in the 3rd. Struck out swinging in the 5th.
He has not been nice to Brett Gardner at all. One of those punch outs on a bunt.
I didn't know JV had a nice.
Yeah, he doesn't have a nice streak when he's on the mound.
No.
Or maybe during the whole 24 hours he's thinking about getting on the mound.
Start day, it's his day.
Yes.
Don't mess with him. Ahead 0-1. 22 of 28 first pitch strikes for Justin Verlander. This is away, 1-1. High pitch count on the year for Verlander is 109. That was in 7 innings of shutout baseball at Minnesota. Strike called, 1-2. Well, if this crowd's ever going to get into the game, it's here. This guy has been masterful. And here they come. 14 strikeouts. Third time in his career. Verlander through 8. Shutting down the Yankees. We're still scoreless.
W fan NTX on Twitter to show us, I should say WTX, because it's a new month. West Texas, May is your chance to show your spirit. So tweet now and win big. Start tweeting. CK.
All right, Julia, on we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. This crowd is revved up after watching Justin Verlander get through the 8th. New pitcher for the Yankees is David Robertson.
He's closed out some games in his career. Now working out of that bullpen for the Aaron Boone Yankees. He's appeared in 14 games already this season. In that first month of April, this will be his first appearance in May. Throws hard, has a cut fastball. Averages 92 miles an hour on that. Also a bigger slider and a curveball. I think you know who's up by the sounds.
Josh Reddick pinch hitting for Jake Marisnick. Astros have bullpen action going with Ken Giles warming up. Verlander finished the 8th inning with 105 pitches, matching his career high with 14 strikeouts. Third time in his career he's reached that plateau. A 1 pitch bounces in there. It's 1-1.
Three career starts against the Yankees here at Minute Maid Park. Game 2, complete game, 1 earned run. ALCS Game 6, 7 innings, 0 earned runs. Tonight, 8 innings, 0 earned runs, and 14 punch-outs.
Slowly hit to the right side. Reddick always hustling, and Robertson there to cover for the first out. Reddick has a pinch hitter, grounds out, 1 away in the 8th, and back to the top of the order. Verlander has retired 16 in a row and 20 out of 21. The only one of those 21 to reach a bunt single by Didi Gregorius. Judging by Verlander's reaction to the rest of the starters, his night might be over.
Yeah, if he's acknowledging the rest of the people in this stadium, then yes, he's out of the game.
If he's laughing,
yeah,
he's out of the game. What a night it was.
He knows it.
That was a special performance against the best offense in baseball. Yankees coming in, scoring the most runs, highest slugging percentage, highest OPS. And Verlander not just shut them down, he dominated them tonight.
It was an incredible performance. Not even on a night where the Astros needed it, but he wanted to go out there and perform. Especially means something here at Minute Maid Park, wearing that Astros uniform for the first full season for Justin Verlander. There's some unforeseen critics out there pointing their finger at the Houston Astros, but this guy right here is leading the way, and the only sauce he's putting on the ball is awesome sauce. Give me a break. So sick of that. Just acknowledge greatness when it happens.
I agree.
Just me.
No, it's not just you. I think you speak for a lot of Astros fans. 2-2 the count to George Springer. George was down 0-2 in the count. Now the count's full. He's seen 5 pitches from David Robertson and laying off some tough 2-strike pitches. Altuve is on deck. Springer goes down swinging. 2 outs in the 8th.
League leaders are presented by Houston Methodist. Best starter ERA since 1950. Houston Astros. This is up to date. This is current with Justin Verlander's performance thus far. 2.34.
68th, the year of the pitcher. This is the year of the Astros pitcher.
That is the truth.
Well, the last time Robertson faced Altuve, he struck him out. The time before, Jose hit a home run.
What were the spin rates back in 1968?
There's a pitch away for a ball. It's 1-0. Altuve overall against Robertson is 1 for 6 with a couple of walks. The one hit a home run. Astros need a run in this inning to avoid a no decision for Justin Verlander. And Robertson with a strike. It's 1-1. The Yankees going to their 5th pitcher tonight. So in the rhetorical question of how many Yankees pitchers do they need to match Verlander, at least 5. They did have an injury situation. If you're just joining us, Jordan Montgomery had to leave the game with left elbow tightness after 1 inning. Their bullpen's done a great job. Herman for 4 shutout innings, Chad Green for 1, Dellin Betances for 1, and now David Robertson on in the 8th. Two and 1 the count to the reigning AL MVP. Big swing, foul back.
Good swing. Altuve trying to pick up Justin Verlander with that swing. I think JV knows it too by the smile. Almost willing Jose Altuve to hit that big one.
Then he would say, I literally love Jose Altuve.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a little love in return.
Altuve stays alive. Three and 2. Carlos Correa waits on deck.
Somebody's locked into this game.
There's a base hit to left field. Altuve on the 3-2 breaking ball. Singles to left. And the Astros will have their hottest hitter against the New York Yankees coming to the plate in Carlos Correa.
Altuve wanted a little bit more out of this, but with the velocity being taken off it. I feel if that was that cut fastball in the low 90s, Altuve would have launched it, but got the head out a little bit quick on that slider. Instead, just puts himself on base for the guy who has MVP-type potential himself.
This combo gave Verlander a win in Game 2 that we showed you earlier. It was the 9th inning. It was a walk-off. But we know Verlander's out of the game, so tonight they can do the same magic and try and give Justin a win with a run here in the 8th. Strike one. Correa, the last 2 times he has faced David Robertson, has base hits, a double and a single. Prior to that, Robertson was winning the battles. Carlos was 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts first 4 times he faced him. Down to the count 0-2. Robertson strikes out Correa to end the 8th inning. Well, the Astros get a base hit. Altuve stranded, and we head to the 9th, scoreless. Verlander has been amazing since joining the Astros. Tonight was one of the best we've seen.
8 innings, 3 hits, 14 punch-outs for the veteran. Says he's feeling the best he's felt in a very long time, and he's going out on a daily basis and proving it in that Astros uniform. It was a pleasure to watch him finish off that season and lead the Astros to a World Series championship, but he is on a mission here early on. Phenomenal stuff, an amazing line, which unfortunately is going to take a no decision.
He retired the last 16 he faced and 20 of the last 21. Only a Didi Gregorius bunt hit. The only runner since an out in the 2nd inning. Ken Giles takes over.
Did a great job last night picking up that 3rd save. He was fired up about it. We saw good fastballs in the upper 90s, touching a hundo a couple times, and a slider.
Last night, Giles struck out the side, getting Giancarlo Stanton, Gary Sanchez, and Aaron Hicks. Tonight, he'll deal with Aaron Judge, Didi Gregorius, and Stanton once again. First 2 missing. It's 2-0. Verlander did not walk a batter. He did hit the leadoff batter of the game, Brett Gardner, on a breaking ball. Giles had been pounding the strike zone his last few outings, but he is 3-0 on Aaron Judge. Judge has 2 hits and 4 at-bats against Ken Giles. Double and a single. There's a strike. Drive in a right field for a base hit. New right fielder for the Astros, Josh Reddick, who came on to pinch hit. Stays in the game and plays right. George Springer moves over to center. So a leadoff runner for the Yankees in the 9th inning. That'll bring up Didi Gregorius. That is their first base runner since Gregorius bunted for a hit back in the 3rd. Verlander retired 16 in a row. 9 of those 16 were strikeouts.
Snapped 6 1/3 innings for Ken Giles before allowing that base runner.
His last 7 outings, you're right, Blummer, had been perfect. That had never happened before in Astros history. A line drive into left center field. Cutting it off will be Marwin. Didi heading to second base. The throw there is not in time. 2nd and 3rd for the Yankees with nobody out in the 9th inning.
Good piece of hitting by Didi. Fastball away, just stay on it, punch it back up the middle. See just a gradual little shift of George Springer on that second base side. Marwood did a heck of a job cutting that ball off and spinning and throwing. Almost got Didi. Ken Giles has got himself a bit of a situation.
Now he's facing the same 3 hitters that he struck out the side against in last night's Astros 2-1 win. Facing Giancarlo Stanton. Infield in. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Start him with a slider.
After seeing nothing but absolute fuel from Justin Verlander for a couple of punch outs and a fly out.
Missing 1-1. Slider for a swinging strike, 1-2. Infield on the left side is about medium with Stanton batting. Infield on the right side is in. Giles would love to pick up a big strikeout here. Tried to hold up. He does. 2-2.
I'd imagine that would be pretty close. As close as it can get.
Aroldis Chapman warming up for the Yankees. Will Harris warming up for the Astros. He got him. big strikeout. Out number one.
That's a start. Not done yet. Continue to maintain that focus. Actually, the worst pitch of the AB was that slider up. Got Stanton to swing under it.
Stanton 6 strikeouts in this series, 3 tonight, 3 last night. And a big meeting at the mound. It's Brent Strom and the entire infield come out to talk to Ken Giles. Gary Sanchez is due up. There is a base open. Giles struck out Sanchez in last night's game, but prior to that, Sanchez was 2 for 2 with a walk in his career against Ken Giles.
Aaron Hicks hitting behind Sanchez, runs relatively well, makes the double play a little bit tougher. But it may be a conversation. If you do go after him, make sure you're careful about it. Get a good game plan and lock down the idea that you have against Gary Sanchez. A lot of times Brent Strom says that's what he's going out there is to really reinforce the scouting report these guys already know. Sometimes you get in the heat of the battle, much like these intense situations against a team like the Yankees, maybe lose it a little bit, go out there and just reinforce it.
Fly ball deep to center field, sending Springer all the way back, and this ball is gone. 3-run home run, Gary Sanchez, and the Yankees take a 3-0 lead. Sanchez hits his 8th home run of the year.
This is a tough lineup. Do your best. Keep Aaron Judge in the ballpark. Give him a base hit. Didi Gregorius stays in the ballpark. Punch out Stanton. Can't lay back on it like Gary Sanchez just did on that Ken Giles slider.
Judge, who started the rally with a single, Didi Gregorius doubled him to third, and then Gary Sanchez clears the bases with a 3-run home run. And now here's Aaron Hicks. Giles had not allowed a base runner for the last 7 outings and had not been scored on in the last 8. And the Yankees hang a 3 spot on him in the 9th inning. Called strike 1-1.
The 3 hitters in this inning that have made contact against Ken Giles. Aaron Judge's base hit 111.8 off the bat. Didi Gregorius 98.4 miles an hour. Gary Sanchez's home run 109.2 miles an hour. Estimated 423 feet.
That had been an entirely dormant lineup for the previous 21 hitters. Just a bunt hit. As Verlander retired 20 of the last 21 he faced, but they came alive in the 9th. And now Aaron Hicks with a 2-1 count. That ball is ripped, and that's a fair ball down the line. Reddick plays it nicely off the wall, and that'll hold Hicks to a single. A.J. Hinch out of the dugout. Will Harris has been warming up, and A.J. going to make a change. 3-0 Yankees lead. Back with more after this. Sanchez. Yankees with 4 hits in the inning. And the 4th hit by Aaron Hicks was the last batter that Ken Giles would face. And now Will Harris comes in out of the bullpen.
Trying to catch my breath like the rest of the fans here at Minute Maid Park after they just had that sucker punch. 12 games for Will Harris, 1-1, 1.69 ERA. He's been good against righties. He also has had some pretty good numbers against lefties with that cut fastball in the low to mid 90s. Also a 12-6 breaking ball. I've already seen last time we saw Will, he got the win against Oakland on the 29th.
First batter that will face is the rookie Miguel Andujar. Andujar's single in 3 at bats. Runner on the move. Strike is called, and the throw down by McCann is not quite in time. Aaron Hicks has his 2nd steal of the year. Frustrating night for Ken Giles. Frustrating night for Astros fans. Justin Verlander matching his career high with 14 strikeouts in 8 innings. Had retired 16 in a row. 9 of those on strikeouts. And then the Yankees bats coming alive in the 9th. Double singles, a double, and a home run. And now Harris trying to keep it at a 3-run game. It has been a pitcher-dominated matchup between these two. Astros and Yankees last year in the ALCS, the losing team in 6 of the 7 games scored 0 or 1 run. The Astros in every game at Minute Maid Park last year led. Never trailed against the Yankees. Never trailed in the game last night. Last time the Astros trailed against the New York Yankees at Minute Maid Park over 60 innings ago. It was that game they came back to win, rallying against Dellin Betances and Aroldis Chapman on a Saturday, with Yuli Gurriel right in the middle of that rally. 1-2 pitch, Andujar stays alive. It was 65 consecutive innings where the Astros were either tied or ahead of the Yankees in this stadium.
Nice block. That was that power breaking ball well out in front of home plate. Brian McCann did a heck of a job keeping that right where it is. This is not easy to do for a catcher. It's kind of crazy. You get the catcher back there and you say get small, create that small target, and then all of a sudden you see a ball that far out in front of plate and you're like get big. Knock it down.
Yep. Slowly hit left side of the infield. Bregman with a runner cutting across makes the play to get Andujar. That's 2 outs in the inning. Hicks moves to third. Tyler Austin, the batter. Austin retired on a great play by Carlos Correa his last time up. That was the first out of the 8th inning. Harris misses. It's 1-0. Looking ahead in the Astros bottom half of the 9th inning, Yuli Gurriel, Alex Bregman, Marwin Gonzalez due up. If any of them reach, Evan Gaddis.
Some history with the Aroldis Chapman.
One and two the count.
And as frustrating as that outing was for Ken Giles, well, it still is. It's got to be equally as frustrating for this offense, knowing that the starter came out of this after throwing 1 inning. But the only blessing might be that they have one more shot in this game.
Austin tried to hold up.
But it's just made that much tougher with that ball skipping away from Brian McCann.
Wild pitch scores a run. Austin did check his swing. And coming down from third, Aaron Hicks crosses the plate with a 4th run.
McCann doing the best he could.
Altuve in the shift. And that'll do it. But a deflating top half of the 9th inning as the Yankees put up 4. We head to the bottom half of the 9th. Toyota. Let's go places. Bottom half of the 9th inning, Astros down 4-0. As they will now face the Yankees closer. Hardest throwing reliever in the game right now, Aroldis Chapman.
Coming on for the New York Yankees is that man right there. Made his 12th appearance against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Went a scoreless inning. He picked up his 6th save in that game. Some of the peripherals on him with that ERA at 1.5. Whip under 1. Like Todd said, averaging 98.5 miles an hour on that fastball. As a slider also.
Well, the Astros need some base runners, and Yuli Gurriel will lead things off against Chapman. One of the bigger hits of the season last year was Gurriel's double down the line in that come from behind win against the New York Yankees against Aroldis Chapman. Yuli tonight 2 for 3, a couple of singles. He's also grounded out. night when the Yankees lost their starter Jordan Montgomery after 1 inning. Their bullpen has been shut down.
It's been pretty impressive. Herman going 4 innings, 4-hit baseball. He had 4 punch outs. Chad Green an inning, a punch out. Patantis an inning, 3 punch outs. Robertson an inning and 2 punch outs.
Yuli takes one. 1-1 to count. Another big crowd tonight on this Dollar Dog Tuesday. 34,386. They got to witness an electrifying performance by Justin Verlander, matching his career high with 14 strikeouts and retiring 16 in a row to end his night. But a 4-run top half of the 9th inning, and now they need a big rally. Ariel goes down swinging. Chapman picks up a strikeout for the first out of the 9th.
That fastball took off.
100 with that kind of movement? That's not fair.
No, that spin rate moving that ball off the plate.
So here's Alex Bregman.
That's just good old-fashioned buggy whip in that left arm if it rolled as Chapman.
Hey, usually Yuli doesn't strike out too much, but that was a nearly impossible pitch for him to hit. Bregman lined out to right, flied out to right, and struck out. Two and 0. Astros continue the series tomorrow night. Dallas Keuchel against Luis Severino. I think the arms out of the bullpen for the Yankees throw hard. Severino averages the highest velocity of the fastball for any pitcher as a starter this year. So the Astros have to dial it up again tomorrow. 2-1 to count to Bregman. Two and 2. Trapped in the slider for a called strike. There's that tailing fastball that got Yuli. Alex laid off. It's 3 and 2. Chapman in 12 1/3 innings this year with 5 walks and 22 strikeouts. Got him on the slider. Gear up for 100 and get that slider in on the hands. That's back-to-back strikeouts for Chapman.
Yeah, it's not easy to adjust to when you're trying to protect against 100. Then you get the slider that snaps off as you're beginning your swing.
Astros down to their final out. Marwin Gonzalez steps in there with 2 outs and the base is empty. Yankees with 7 hits tonight, 4 of them coming in the 9th inning when they scored 4 runs. Astros with 6 hits. And they were spread out tonight. They had a hit in 6 different innings. No single inning did they have multiple hits. 1-1 the count. Yankees had their 9-game winning streak snapped last night. They are in the midst of playing 17 straight games without a day off, but they have been playing as well as anybody in the major leagues for the last week and a half. And Chapman drops one in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
Fans still holding on here. I give them credit for that.
That'll do it. 100 miles an hour on that tailing fastball. Chapman strikes out the side. And the Astros drop the second game of this 4-game series to the New York Yankees by the final score of 4-0. Pitching dominated tonight, but the Yankees put up a 4 spot in the top half of the 9th to win it 4-0. We'll have the 3rd game of the series coming up tomorrow night, but we'll have more on tonight's game as we'll have the post-game show right around the corner.